Gonna say?
Ace 5.
And Alex shows it.
It's a bluff.
Jake's going to the cage.
These are times when poker pros get outplayed by kids for millions.
A newcomer from the East Coast. With some online background. Went to Brown, computer science major. Bright kid.
Poker is a game of brain, bluff, strategy, and sometimes it breaks down a grown man's spirit. Well guys, in today's video, we'll break down a match where seasoned poker players get destroyed by a kid. These so-called pros got their egos smashed by a kid who learned poker on a Wi-Fi connection. Meet the victims, I mean players.
4-bet.
And I really like this play by Brandon. This is definitely going to be 4-bet some of the time.
And Andy, who...
Andy is an experienced player. He knows what he's doing. He's calm, serious, and usually makes the right moves. Most days, people are scared to play against him, but not today. Our next player has a big name in poker. People respect him. He doesn't talk much at the table, and he's really good at reading people. Normally, Garrett is the one making others fold, but in this game, well, you'll see.
And we have an electrifying lineup here. There are going to be some pots.
That is Brandon, a newcomer from the East Coast.
And opposite to these pro players, we have our main character, Brandon, a new kid at the table. He looks young, but don't let his cool face fool you. He's smart. He is an online poker player with a computer science academic background, and today, he's not scared of anyone. Not Andy, not Garrett, nobody. The game is on.
And Brandon's got the King-Jack suited. So hands like these have evolved over the years. Like when you're...
Brandon starts with King-Jack suited, a sweet little hand that could go either direction. The second best opening hand in the game.
Some of the time.
And Andy.
Andy looks down at kings. So, what does he do? He 3-bets like a gentleman.
Before against AJ, now just calls to see a flop, and there's a jack-high flop.
Brandon calls. Of course he does. He's not folding. Folding's for people who play with pre-planned strategies. The flop comes, jack high.
1/3 pot. Very quickly, Andy just calls.
Brandon's got a second pair. Andy's still sitting pretty with his kings. Brandon leads out with a small bet. Andy calls. He must be thinking, okay, I'll just catch and trap him later.
And that ace makes ace-jack top 2. Is ace-jack a 4-better out of position? Brandon knows that now he is...
Yeah, about that. The turn, an ace. Now, as both players check in, the board scenes appear tragic.
He does have the jack. And there he goes. And Andy immediately regretting that decision.
After the river hits, Brandon be like, you know what? I had the strongest hand at that moment, and so he throws out a big bet.
Andy has amazing, amazing instincts.
Yeah.
He's able to surmise certain decision points better than anyone else and make very hard decisions correctly. And it's very hard to play against. But as we can see here,
I don't this is a spot where we just don't know. That peak looks like he's gonna fold, but we don't know. Maybe get a read.
Andy stares at the board. He stares at Brandon. He stares into the void. He folds his kings. Andy folds kings.
I have 4 deuce, Andy. I have 4 deuce.
Show, if you want to show, show.
No.
Brandon turns over king jack, just a pair of jacks. And everyone at the table is like, ah, what just happened? The second round.
Oh, and a set of 5s for Brandon.
this man can do no wrong in this play and is flopping it when it matters. Garrett's going to lose the pot here.
Unless.
All right, so we are here again. The super kid, Brandon, is back at the table, and this time he's got pocket fives. Well, it's not that kind of royal flush, but when played cleverly and mindfully, those little cards can make surprising moves. He's sitting there like it's no big deal. Start betting with a cool and calm demeanor.
Brandon's just not going to waste any time.
This hand is also already incredibly interesting. When Garrett bets pot here, He's essentially saying Brandon shouldn't have too many strong hands on this board.
And who came up with a real hand? Garrett. Yes, Garrett. The guy who's built strong like a rock and plays poker like he's solving complex problems in his mind. He takes a look down at his cards and finds pocket queens. And this is one of the best starting hands you can ever get.
Oh, they should get backed up fast.
And Garrett calls. He's going to reevaluate as.
So, Garrett starts the play in his style. Now, let's pause and think for a second. Garrett's thinking this is going to go the way it usually does. He raises, people fold, he wins the pot without even seeing the flop. Everything in his hands cleanly, easily, and respectfully.
And Brandon's just thinking about the freaking mirage.
But Brandon doesn't fold. I think it's not his style. He calls quietly like he's pretending the fives he has are no big deal. And then, flop comes down, 5-2-8 without any flush, just a clean board. But that little five hits Brandon right in the heart. He now has a set of fives, 3 of a kind.
That queen comes out.
13.
Meanwhile, Garrett is sitting across from him with his queens, feeling pretty great. He is like, the board looks favorable, I'm safe. So he throws out a big bet, to show he's serious.
Looks like Garrett bet pot and Brandon's just not going to waste any time.
This hand is also already incredibly interesting. When Garrett bets pot here.
And Brandon? He doesn't just call, he raises without any hesitation. He is like, hey Garrett, are you still happy about those queens, buddy?
Garrett.
Yep.
Is that right, Michael, or is it more than that?
I actually can't help with that.
I got 10, 12, 16.
Now Garrett is confused. He expected Brandon to fold or maybe just call. That raise from Brandon was totally unexpected for Garrett, but Garrett is not ready to give up. So Garrett calls. He wants to see another turn. Maybe this turn will make things clear to him.
Garrett. Yep.
Is that right, Michael, or is it more than that?
I actually can't help with that.
I got 10, 12, 16.
Well, the turn comes, and it's a spade. Doesn't change much. Maybe now there's a flush draw. However, Brandon is not worried. He bets again, and this time it's not too much. Just enough to keep Garrett interested.
28. 29. With the 25.
Even rougher, Garrett does not have a spade.
Now Garrett's thinking, hard. The board still looks fine. No big danger unless Brandon has exactly what he's pretending to have. But Garrett doesn't know that. He calls again. Now, it comes to the last card. Still nothing too scary on the board. Brandon has a set. Garrett still only has an overpair. And here's where Brandon makes his move. He bets again. And Garrett? Now he's in trouble. Not with his cards, but with his thoughts. He's trying to put the pieces together, recalling the whole scene, the raise, the turn, the small bets.
Spade draw.
I
And,
dare you show bluff now.
and Brandon must be disheartened, especially after he sees what Garrett laid down.
He doesn't have a spade in his hand, so he can't beat a flush. He doesn't have a set. And Brandon? He is just enjoying the play like a chill pill guy. Finally, Garrett does something no one expected. He folds. He folds pocket queens. He folds the second best hand at the table. And Brandon?
Oh, anybody stack like
So Brandon looks like he opens and Andy picks up kings in the cutoff and 3 bets.
this?
And Brandon's got the king jack suited.
Brandon says nothing. He just calmly takes the pot and quietly aligns his chips. And that's how this amazing match ended. So, next time when you see an apparently innocent kid at a poker table, don't underestimate his abilities. Because who knows, he could be the next Brandon and you find yourself featuring on the poster of the next YouTube video titled, When Poker Pros Get Outplayed by Kids for Millions. Thanks for watching, and subscribe to see more and continue with this video to watch even more pros get wrecked by kids.